Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Waking Up to Your True Potential. My name is Laura Renankowski, and I'm an international life and relationship coach, and I coach in English, Spanish, Finnish, and Italian. I'm very excited to have my guest today. My guest today is Janine Thorp, and Janine is an energy teacher and healer, and she's the founder of the Conscious Engagement Method. She's based in Ireland and she works internationally, and she helps people open up to their intuitive, creative, and spiritual gifts and abilities. You're very welcome, Janine. It's so nice to see you today.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks for having me here. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's so nice to see you again. I mean, we've known each other for a long time. We haven't seen each other in person in a very long time.
I know it's been a while.
Yeah, it really has, and so much has happened, right, in those years, and continues happening. I've always, you've always had such amazing, positive, energy, and I've taken lots of your, workshops and courses, so. Yeah, I've always enjoyed all the events that I've taken with you. So so Janine, you've had an interesting journey lately. You got COVID. So can you tell me a little bit more about your COVID journey?
Yes, sure. So I got COVID during the summer, and all the time previously to that, I just hadn't really resonated. So I kind of hadn't felt that I would get it, much as my sense was I wouldn't get it. But then, sort of during the summer, I began feeling like, I'm starting to resonate with it now. And I kind of had this sense that if I did get it, that it would be a good thing. So I kind of almost made peace with either option, whether I did or whether I didn't. It was kind of, and I sort of trusted that whatever was right would happen. I didn't go out deliberately to get it, and I don't know how I got it, but I did get it, and it's been really, really an interesting experience. My sense of it. So, I kind of looked to see what was going on in my energy, and what it looked like was this big sort of wrecking ball smashing into my energy field and leaving my energy in shreds. And like when I saw the layers of my energy, it's like there were wispy bits of fabric, and it's like everything was just completely kind of destroyed in some way. And normally, like a flu or a cold virus, they're of nature, and so we kind of can, we have a sort of resonance with them. But this didn't seem like it was of nature. To me, it felt like it was man-made, because it didn't feel like it was of nature. And it's like I didn't know how to be with it. It was like I had no resources already in how to deal with it. So it's like just kind of needing to let go and allow what needed to come in. And I just sort of, I staged the journey. And from the beginning, I had a sense it's happening for me rather than to me. But at some point, not long after I got it, I realized there was still a part of me being a little bit victim to it. So a little bit feeling like it's happening to me. And so once I realized that, I flipped my perspective, and I sort of deliberately, chose to see it from oneness consciousness. And so then it's almost like I saw myself as I am COVID. And when I saw that, it kind of completely changed everything, because suddenly it looked like, and now this is speaking from my experience, of course, my perspective, but it looked like it was definitely a positive thing for me. It felt like it was bringing in this huge paradigm shift, and that it needed to happen now. It's like I couldn't just go slowly through it. It needed to happen now. And so that's why it kind of just was so sudden and just bam. And once I saw it from that perspective as well, I started seeing what I started calling COVID gifts. So, I'd be experiencing whatever certain symptom, and I'd sort of tune into the energy, and I'd realize, this is helping with such and such a thing. And I started calling these COVID gifts. It's like frequencies or teachings or learnings that would come in, through this big shift that I was going through. There were a whole load of them. A couple of that kind of really stood out for me were about boundaries. One of them was kind of boundaries in the sense of self and, who I am and things like that, but also what I called an inner boundary, which was more about being able to be myself and with myself, even if there are things in my environment that I don't particularly like or don't resonate with. And so it was kind of like a different kind of boundary. And anyway, there were lots of these COVID gifts that came in. And so each one, there was a shift, as like a shift. And once I kind of received it and allowed that frequency to help my energy to shift, then I'd feel better. And so, yeah, so it's still ongoing. I'm not fully through the shift yet, but I can feel how if I was to return to kind of normal, if you like, straight away, I would be too much in the old energy, too much in the old paradigm, and function in a way that actually I need to not be functioning. So it's like I'm being supported to move into a completely new way of being, I suppose. And I can feel that my energy is very very different. So yeah, so it's been a really, really interesting journey. And of course, it's been really helpful to see it from this point of view, because then you feel like, when you feel like it's happening for you, then you feel more empowered, you feel more connected, you can kind of receive the shifts more easily and move through it in a much easier way. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
yeah. There's been so much to it that's been just really, really interesting, and kind of learning a whole lot of new things coming in around it. And it's like we're all going through, like the whole world is going through a new shift in consciousness, a new paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And the more of us that can move into that in a way that's as simple as an easier way for us as possible, then the better. So
yeah. So you feel that COVID is part of the shift of consciousness of humanity.
Yeah. Certainly, that was my experience of it, and I can see, like, certainly when I first saw that first wrecking ball coming in, it's like no wonder people, some people anyway, are getting really ill with it, because if your energy field is so smashed, then you have to kind of, and it wasn't even about rebuilding it. It was more about letting go of the old energy field and allowing a new one to emerge that was already there.
Yeah.
It just needed the space for it to be there. So I think it is. It's a big piece of what's going on for everybody.
Yeah.
We experience it directly ourselves, or whether we just witness other people, or maybe there are people close to us. And I know it's been so challenging for a lot of people. But it's all part of the shift. It's it's such a myriad of experiences with it.
Because it's definitely a time now, where the old is falling away and the new is emerging, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's definitely interesting times that we live in, but it's really interesting because I've never heard this kind of perspective about COVID, where you call it the COVID gifts and all of that. In a way, it's like a spiritual perspective of COVID, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because one of the things that came in for me years ago were these essences, which are frequencies that are kind of healing and teaching.
Yeah.
And so those were particular frequencies that would come in and support me, my energy to shift, and then I started sharing them with other people, and their energy would shift and so on. And so it's like these COVID gifts where they weren't the same as essences. They were maybe more complex, but there was still like these energy, like almost like pieces of music or something that would come in. And then, just like if we listen to a piece of music or a tuning fork, our energy will shift.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's similar but different to the whole essence experience. So
Wow, that's amazing. And there's just so much to talk about that. And can you tell me more about your conscious engagement method?
So it sort of started before the essences came in, when I started to realize I could communicate with different intelligences or different consciousnesses in a very conscious way. So it's like this conscious engagement was there from the start, and when I opened up to that, then all these things started coming in, like the essences, and then they evolved and started doing, channel sessions with people, and that evolved. And I've taught people now as practitioners how to use the essences and give healing sessions or transformation sessions of the essences. There are also other things like process. Anyway, there's all sorts of different things that come in with this conscious engagement method. It's like an umbrella term for different ways that we can engage with the intelligence that is within us, that's within nature, within the universe, our different spiritual helpers. And when we open up to that, we kind of can open up to a much vaster field of awareness and knowledge within ourselves. And when we engage with that, we can kind of, we can tap into it and receive it more easily. We can go through our own, healing experience or transformation experience, or we can manifest more easily. There's so many things that can open up when we consciously engage with this higher intelligence or this divine consciousness. And so the conscious engagement method just sort of brings that all together in a way that's accessible for people. And so that people can do it themselves, because we all have this ability, and a lot of the time we have so many abilities we don't really know about, that we we've achieved, if you like, or we've learned, or we've received through different soul experiences, and so by opening up to this, we can access more of this knowledge and more of these gifts and more of these abilities that we have, and bring them through here, so that we can we can tap into them for ourselves, but also if we're working with other people, we can bring them in that way. And it just brings in much more ease and flow when we do tap into that field.
That's great. And I think that makes such a difference. Like I talk about conscious decision making all the time, and I talk about conscious relationships as well. So like that conscious bit there is is very important. And how do you feel now, Janine? How do you feel?
Do you mean with the COVID thing? Or
with COVID, with COVID,
with COVID. I'm still so I still sort of need to, it's really funny, it's really interesting actually, because I feel like it's getting me to really prioritize like what is most important.
Okay.
And so it means it's like becoming more efficient. It's like I've been taught to be more efficient. It's like, this is what's important. These aren't important because, I still get the exhaustion and so on. Sometimes I get my things going on in my head and so on. But every time I experience it, I know that there's another shift happening. Okay. And again, that makes it easier. So if I go, oh my goodness, I'm feeling totally exhausted now. I still need to rest really every afternoon. I'll have a sense of, oh, okay, there's another shift happening here. There's another paradigm shift happening here. And so then that again is easier to allow it, because it's like, okay, I know something about what's going on, even if I don't know the details. And so then it's easier just to allow it, like to surrender to it, to allow it, to be present with it. So it's still going, and so it's like if I check in to say, is this shift complete? Is this whole process or experience complete? I gotta know. If I check in my energy, and it's like, no, there's still more pieces needing to come in.
Right.
And, so that's why I think my body is cooperating with the shift by saying, okay, now you need to rest, or now you need to just be present with what's going on in your head, or whatever, with the headaches and so on. So
and I guess everything is divine timing, right?
Exactly. And everything is part of a bigger piece, a bigger piece that's going on, which we may not know at a human level, but certainly at a higher level, our higher consciousness knows. And it's really got this feeling around. It's like, yes, go with it. And then allow the shifts to come in, allow the change to come in. And often it can include making different choices about how we want to move forwards, or having more of a sense of, actually, this is really important for me now. And so that means letting go of this other thing, so that I can focus on this thing here that is more.
I mean, I think that, like, on a collective level, I think that right now we're all prioritizing, right? And seeing like what is really important to us, right? Prioritizing and yeah, like what is really important in life, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That I see that. I see that everywhere, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and that waking up, and like even the title of your series, you know, the
Yeah.
waking up to our potential means
Yeah.
that we need to become really connected in with ourselves and with what's important, with what's relevant, and move forward in flow with ourselves, like move forward in a, you know, aligned with what is important, what's coming through, you know, what's
Yeah.
right for us. Because of course, when we're aligned with what's right for us, automatically it's aligned for everybody, you know.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes.
so the more we can do that, the
Yeah.
easier this whole bigger transformation that the world is going through will come in. You know, because of course then there's the resonance of the ripple, so that, you know,
Yeah.
if we're individually or collectively more aligned, more flow, more connected, then that frequency will ripple out and support other people who are maybe, you know, struggling with it or aren't aware yet or something like that. And yeah, so it has this ripple effect.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and that's something that I talk about all the time as well. That
Mm,
it's so important to be, you know, the more aligned you are with yourself and the
yeah,
universe and your life path, destiny, you know, whatever name you want to put on it, the better everything in your life will flow. And for example, like this series for me is so aligned to me, like in all ways, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. And
And
like, what would you say, like, do you have certain practices that you do on a daily basis to get more aligned with yourself? Like if somebody thinks, oh,
yeah,
what can I do to get more aligned with myself? You know, what would you recommend?
yeah. Well, I think it's really important to spend a couple of even just a couple of minutes or whatever length of time feels right in the morning, bringing your energy into alignment, into coherence, because it will completely change the way the rest of your day goes.
Yeah.
And it's also setting a new default state. So if our old default state was to be more stressed and in struggle, the more we're able to bring ourselves into that space of flow and alignment and coherence, the more that becomes our new default state.
Yeah.
And then when we go out of it, because of course we're human, we have experiences, and there are things that will come up or we'll experience in life that will take us out of
Yeah.
being aligned. But the more time we spend in that aligned state, the easier it is to get back to it.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I do is using the essences. So the essences, when they came in, you know, they came in as frequencies. I was using for myself, and then if I was giving sessions with people, you know, they'd come in for people. But I realized that, you know, people weren't able to maybe to so easily connect to them themselves. So I created cards that would help people to connect with the essences. So
Yeah.
using the essences is a really good way to clear energy. Like even if you just check in with yourself and just go, okay, well, am I clear right now? Am I in flow? You'll know.
Yeah.
You go, no, I feel really heavy and low, and you'll know. Or if you feel kind of light and bright, then you probably are. So something like the essences can support. Essential oils can support. Tapping, whatever. Like we all have different things that we like to do.
Yeah.
It could be even just meditating. It could be just something as simple as being present and allowing whatever it is that's shifting within us to shift. Because like our body is, or our energy is always wanting to move back into balance. And if we
Yeah.
allow that space for it, then it will automatically start shifting and clearing. So just being present and allowing is another way to become clear.
Right.
So that there's so many ways, and it's to find the way that you like yourself. Oh, have I frozen? Down there. Yeah, so it's to find whatever works for you. I find the essences using conscious engagement method, essential oils, these sort of things are really good for me. But
Right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. It is about finding what resonates with you, right?
Yeah.
Like it can be, meditation, meditating. It can be chanting.
Hmm.
It can be so many different things. The essential oils, the essences. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I think that part of the key is to have a clear intention. So
yeah,
you're starting off whatever that few minutes is, or 15, or whatever amount of time you're giving, you're starting off with a clear intention of wanting to, or of choosing to bring your energy more into flow and into
yes,
alignment.
yes. Yeah. I think that that's a really good point. How you start your day, And especially to watch your thoughts as well. What kind of thoughts do you have first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
And all of that sets up your day, right?
Yeah. And also I think to be compassionate towards ourselves. So if we notice that we're thinking thoughts that are not very helpful, to say it's okay, it's like kind of just to be non-judgmental and be present, and then they can start to shift even just by being caring towards ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I always say, like, be your own best friend and not your own worst enemy, Yeah, be kind and compassionate to yourself. Yeah, because the more kind and compassionate you are to yourself, the more kind and compassionate you'll be to others as well, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
There's something just popping to my mind about what you're doing about helping people to tap into that potential by but so it's like you're showing up, doing your thing, and connecting with other people who are doing their thing. It feels there's something that feels like wants to be mentioned about setting up that kind of field of coherence, like a certain resonance that again has this ripple that can go out, and literally helping people to connect in with something in themselves that maybe ready to waken up more or move into a different phase or something like that. So I don't know why that needs to be mentioned. So thank you to you for doing that. Well,
thank you for bringing that in. Thank you for mentioning that, and that is the series. That is the point of the series. That's why I put these series together. To help people now. To wake up to their full potential. In all ways and in different ways and in ways that resonate with them.
Yeah. And it feels a little bit like, so as you're saying that, it feels a little bit like there's something sort of grounding and landing. It's like something's just sort of settling in and going, yes. I know there's just this yes feeling coming in, which feels really nice. So I don't know if anybody's watching this wants to feel into that yes feeling for themselves.
Yeah.
Because feeling that yes just again sort of sets things on a more aligned path, or sets things into a new, more open, more expanded, kind of lighter frequency. That saying yes feels really good.
That's beautiful. I certainly feel that yes energy today. Like, yes, anything is possible, and like, let's ground things, let's land things. I definitely feel that kind of energy today. So
exactly, that grounding feels really good. Like it's opening up new paths or new ways or new experiences, maybe.
Definitely. And when I think of that grounding energy, that earth energy, I think of trees. I love trees. And trees, it's like they're grounded with their roots, and
Exactly. And nature, because I know I work a lot with nature intelligence, nature has a way of restoring balance, restoring harmony, restoring vitality. And so when we allow that nature intelligence to work within us, we naturally then restore more of our balance and harmony and vitality. It's really nice, and it feels really nice to mention it or bring it in here now. It's like, like a letting go, maybe.
That's so beautiful. And I'm gonna go for a walk today. It's a beautiful sunny day in Dublin, So I'm definitely gonna go walk, like in nature, like close to a river, and there's lots of trees, which I love. It's like my favorite place. That's the place where I go to like recharge my batteries,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The more you connect to nature, and nature's such a healer. Like, it's such a healer, and it opens you up, right? It grounds you and it opens you up at the same time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything that you shared, Janine. And how can people find you?
Well, my website is JanineThorp.com. I'm also on Facebook. I have a Facebook page, Janine Thorp, and also on Instagram. I've 2 accounts. There's a Janine Thorp account, and there's also Essentially Intuitive account, which is more for essential oils. So the first one is more for the essences and conscious engagement method, and that communicating with different intelligences and so on. And then the other one is more essential oil space, which is bringing in the nature. So anybody's welcome. I'm doing live streams there. Anybody's welcome to join.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing, for bringing a different perspective on COVID, and for, bringing all this lovely positive energy.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone for joining us today. I hope you liked the interview and you got inspired to get more aligned to yourself, and go out into nature, and connect with that amazing energy, to ground yourself, and open yourself up to new ideas and possibilities. And don't forget that every Friday I post a new interview with an amazing person. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And for now, Bright Lights says, stay well, be happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.